All right, guys, today I'm going to dial in channel 2 and channel 3 on a Mesa Triple Rectifier. Let's see if this amplifier is still relevant today. Let's get started. Well, thanks for joining me for today's video. This should be a quick one. I know I say that all the time and then I end up going way over, but I'm going to try to keep this really quick. So I want to thank Motor City Guitar for allowing me to take this amplifier home so I can mess around with it and do a video for you guys. By the way, there is a link below in the description if you want to buy some stuff from Motor City Guitar. If you're looking for some great gear, it's an affiliate link. It helps me out, it helps Motor City Guitar out, and it helps you out too because you get what you want, you know? I mean, that's what it's all about. They ship anywhere in the continental US. And for you guys that play ToneX, KEMPER, and Quad CORTEX, there's a link below that'll take you right to my website so you can check out some awesome guitar tones for yourself if you play one of those units. All right, so let's get started with the amplifier. So I have a confession to make. I already dialed in both channels because I literally just sat down here to dial everything in and play around with it, and I found a sweet spot on both channels, and I'm like, holy shit, this sounds amazing. I will tell you what those settings are. Now, I could put a camera up on it, but with these knobs, you can't tell where they're at anyways. I mean, that's one thing I hate about these chrome knobs. You can't tell where they're at. You got to really look at them. So I'll tell you all the settings, or maybe I'll take a picture. Yeah, I'll take a picture of the settings and post them right here for you guys. And you can screenshot them or whatever and try them out for yourself. They're interesting settings to say the least, but give them a try. Now keep in mind this is a triple rectifier, so the settings are working really good on this amplifier, but they might not translate very well on other rectifier amplifiers. But hey, try them out, see what you think. All right, so without further ado, let's do channel 2 right now. No overdrive yet. I will be trying a couple different overdrives with this amp, and I want to make it sound as nasty and as modern as I can. And the overdrives I'm going to try out today are the Mud Killer, the Dirty Tree, and the Mesa Grid Slammer. And I'll tell you what the settings are on those pedals as well. So let's get started without the overdrive. Okay, so it's the typical flubby, tubby, loose amplifier that we all have come to know and love. So let's go ahead and slam it with the, let's start out with a Grid Slammer right now. So I'll turn it on as I'm playing and see how it affects the amp. Man, that pedal really woke it up. So here are the settings on the Grid Slammer. I have the level all the way up, gain all the way down, and the tone knob is cranked all the way up. That's something a lot of people may or may not know about. If your overdrive's not working for you, crank the tone knob and find the sweet spot with that. And I guarantee you, you're going to find some really good results with that. Let me turn the tone knob on the Grid Slammer back to noon and show you the difference. Yeah, it doesn't do much with the tone knob in the middle, at least with this amplifier. Actually, with this pedal, I crank the tone knob all the way up on every amp because this pedal really wakes up when you crank the tone knob on it. And that active circuit that's in there really does make a huge difference. Let me turn it up while I'm playing now. way more bite. This pedal really does wake up when you do that. And it's kind of dull without the tone knob cranked. It just sounds like a really mild push to the amp, and it doesn't add that bite and that attack that I look for. It really does make a difference. I really highly recommend this pedal. I used to hate this pedal until I cranked the tone knob up on it, and I was like, holy crap, why didn't I do this a long time ago? Once I discovered that setting on the pedal, I was like, this thing's a total keeper now. All right, so let's switch from the Grid Slammer to the Dirty Tree. Let's see what that sounds like. That sounds freaking awesome. It has a little more edge to it, a little different top end with this pedal. It's pushing different frequencies, so of course you're going to have a different sounding top end with it. But the Dirty Tree was made for flubby, tubby, gooey, flat tire amplifiers like this amp here, and it really shines with these amps. I mean, it really does. I found that with the Dirty Tree, if you put it with amps that are already really tight, it could be a little bit overkill, but if you got a flubby ass amp, I'm telling you, that's a pedal that should be in your arsenal. It works really well. So I have, basically, there's on the Dirty Tree side of the pedal, it only has one knob that is active, so it's at 3 o'clock right now, and that's really all I need. It's plenty aggressive, plenty tight for that. So let's switch from that now to the Mud Killer, and I have the tone knob cranked all the way up on the Mud Killer as well. So let's switch between those two and see what that sounds like. Now the Mud Killer sounds really good with it, but I prefer what the Dirty Tree is doing right now. I think the Dirty Tree is shining really good in this shootout. I mean, it sounds awesome with the amp. It's more responsive too. It has a better response to it, a little more aggressive, a little more edge. So I very much prefer the Dirty Tree over the Mud Killer with this amplifier. Again, the Mud Killer is good, but the Dirty Tree is just better. Now let's go back and forth between the Dirty Tree and the Grid Slammer, starting with the Dirty Tree. Yeah, I really think the Dirty Tree is the best overdrive for this amp, at least on my pedal board. I really like the Grid Slammer, but as soon as I switch back and forth between that and the Dirty Tree, I'm like, man, that Dirty Tree just really moderns the amp up a little bit and makes it a lot more responsive and more aggressive, which is what I like. It actually adds some articulation to it as well. Now I have the bass almost all the way down on this. I mean, it's at like 8 o'clock on the different channels here on channel 2 and channel 3. I think I have a little bit higher on channel 3. We'll switch to that in a second, but man, I think channel 2 sounds really good here. I'm surprised. You know, some people are like, oh, these amps are fizzy and tubby. They are tubby, but I'm not getting a lot of fizz out of this amp right now. I just feel like it just sounds really good. And I got the presence cranked. Where is it? Where's the freaking presence at? Yeah, it's all the way up. And when I picked this amp up, I was like, wow, this thing, they had the presence cranked. I'm like, man, no wonder they traded it in. But honestly, that's where it shines. Crank the presence all the way up on this version anyways. I don't know about the other ones, but it sounds good on this one. And the treble's at, oh, I'd say almost 2 o'clock. And it sounds pretty freaking aggressive right now, and there's nothing about it that I don't like. Let's do a couple more riffs with it. Yeah, it sounds great, really aggressive and fat. I mean, if you dial this amp in right and slam it with the proper overdrive, with the right settings on that overdrive, it could really sound amazing. Let's go ahead and switch over to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn on the grid slammer again. And let's switch over to channel 3. And with the grid slammer on, I'll start with channel 2 and then switch to channel 3 while I'm playing and show you the difference. All right, I feel like channel 3 is a little more aggressive and it's a little thinner, so let's beef it up a little bit. Let's turn up the bass. All right, so I made a few minor tweaks. I think that's as good as I can get channel 3 to sound. Let's mess around with the overdrives now. Let's switch from the grid slammer to the dirty tree. Yep, Dirty Tree, again, sounds better with this amplifier, even on this channel. I had to turn up the bass a little bit, but that's okay. There's plenty of low end in this amp. So now I got the bass at like just over 9 o'clock. And yeah, it sounds great. Let's switch between the Dirty Tree and the Mud Killer now. It got a little less aggressive with the Mud Killer, but still sounds really good. Let's switch back from the Mud Killer to the Dirty Tree now. Sounds awesome. It really does. You know, it's funny, when I was dialing the amp, I would acclimate to one of the channels and then switch to the other one. And at first I would be like, it's kind of lacking. And then I'd freaking love the channel after playing it for a few minutes. I'd switch back to the other one that I preferred, and then I preferred the one I was on before. So it really depends. I mean, both of these channels are actually excellent. Let's switch back to channel 2 now that I've kind of fine-tuned channel 3. And I'm going to stay on the Dirty Tree because, in my opinion, that's the best overdrive that I have for this amp anyways. Wow, yeah, so when I switched from channel 2 to channel 3, I was like, I kind of prefer channel 2, but then when I got used to channel 3 and switched back to channel 2, I'm like, now I kind of prefer channel 3. Channel 3 is a little less flubby, and it's a little more articulate and a little clearer, you know, more articulation, and so I think it's a little more aggressive too. I could definitely hear a little more of that fizz coming in on channel 2 when I switched from channel 3. So yeah, it's funny how they compare when you switch them back and forth directly. Let me switch back and forth a couple more times. I'm on channel 2 right now. Okay, so let's just see what they sound like again. Man, I think I slightly prefer channel 3. I always thought channel 2 was the money channel on this amp. I don't know. It's been a while. But channel 3 has just got that articulation, that little more aggressive top end that I like. And the clarity's really nice. That articulation's really nice. All right, so now let's do a one-take mix on channel 3 of the triple rectifier. I do one-take mixes now because I'm tired of doing 800 takes in a row and just agonizing myself over trying to be perfect. I'm sick of trying to be perfect because I'm not perfect. And so from now on, I'm just doing one take. It could be an absolute train wreck. It could be amazing. I have no idea what's going to happen. But whatever happens, I'm leaving it all in there. So warts and all, here comes Night Terrors on channel 3 through the triple rectifier. Well, there you have it. Yeah, I hit a couple bad notes there, but that's what it's all about, just keeping it real here on Tone Wars. So are the dual and triple rec amps still relevant today? Well, I guess that's up to you. I still think that these amps have their place in the guitar community. There's still recordings with these amplifiers on them, and there's still people playing them live on stage, and I think they sound great. You know, I mean, do I have amps on these shelves that I would prefer over this amp? Yeah, but I still think I could make this amp work for me if I really needed to. But what do you guys think? Do you guys still think that these amplifiers fit in with all the modern tones, or do you think it's time to move on to other stuff? I'm looking forward to seeing your comments about this topic, and if you have one of these amps, what are your favorite settings with it? Are they similar to the settings that I used, or do you use settings that are way different? And What overdrive pedal do you prefer with it, and have you tried the Dirty Tree or the 33 with this amp, and what were your thoughts about that? Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and if you have this amp, or if you have another amp that's, you know, got a lot of extra low end in it, it's kind of tubby, I'm telling you, man, the Dirty Tree is an excellent pedal for that. It really tightens it up. There's only one knob on it that's associated with the Dirty Tree side of the pedal anyway, so it's just easy to dial in. Turn it on, set the level to taste, and go. And you might have to fine-tune the amp slightly after you do that, but that's okay. It really does make the amp more aggressive and more modern sounding and a lot more responsive when you play it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And to all my Patreon supporters and subscribers, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys. This channel's come a long way over the last year or so, and I really appreciate all the growth that I've had here, and I got a lot of great news coming up. I can't wait to share with you guys. I'm really excited about it, so stay tuned to the channel for that. And if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and click the bell so that you can be notified every time I come out with new episodes or go live. Well, I got a lot more coming up for you guys, and I will see you on the next one.